That's all I say a lot. Okay. Funny. Right, so welcome to another episode of Manchester SEO Podcast.
Thank you.
Today we've got Gemma Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
who runs a business called Website Architect.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in. I obviously, the name of the business suggests what you do.
Yes.
Tell us what it is.
Okay. So it's about websites, but it's I try and do a slight twist on it. So I speak to a lot of people that I've built websites for before, and they've all gone, well, never got a sale from it. No one's ever inquired from it. However, as you'll probably know yourself, they don't actually check if someone's phoned the phone number off the website, and they don't check whether things are working on the website.
The contact form works.
Contact form is a common one. So instead of just building people's websites and then just saying, off you pop, deal with it, manage your site, there you go. Yeah, I've tried to make it so that it's a bit more useful for people and it's more of a tool in the business. So I've created the selling system, which incorporates the website, a CRM system that can handle sort of admin tasks for people. So, for example, if they have a person filling in the contact form, it will alert them, but it will also send out an autoresponder for them, so they don't have to be at the computer all the time. It has AI built in, so AI can be a chatbot and it can book people into the calendar for them. It can answer simple questions, FAQs on the site, things like that. And we try and offer basic marketing, but anything SEO, we talk to somebody like you.
Good.
So yeah, but it makes the system better, and we can also add a VoIP phone number so that it can go through the CRM system and they can be alerted,
right, okay.
And things like that. So it makes it more of a tool rather than it just being a website and something that people kind of showcase the work on. People want to inquire, but it doesn't always work because they'll take the website and then they'll just leave it to rot.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, people think, oh, I'll have a website and I'll just get inquiries through. And it doesn't work
that way at all.
To have that kind of the CRM system and having it linked in and automated in ways, probably a massive benefit for a new business. Maybe
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And like I say, a website with no traffic is completely pointless as well. So we try and speak to people like you, offer email marketing, things like that.
Yeah, I've seen your websites. The basic principles are in there, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that gives you the foundation.
I optimize, but I don't SEO.
Well, I think like it's important to know, have the principles in, so you've got the foundation to build on, and then people come in and you can, like you say, you're taking all their details, and then that can be used to then, send out marketing or communications to them as well. And it does a lot for you, doesn't it?
It does. It's a funny one because people know that they need a website, but they don't really know how to make it work for the business. So if you've got everything at the top of the funnel, so Google, social media platforms, and they come into the website, and then there's no action being taken, so the website's not cared for. What's the point in doing all of that marketing to get people to come to the website? And you want them off Google and you want them off social media because that's a different business. If you bring them to your business and you access their details, then you can market to them off platform. So it's a useful tool, and it boggles my brain that people don't actually use it sometimes. So I
suppose if you're running a business that isn't related to marketing in any way, you're good at that, and you want an online presence, so you go, okay, I'll get a website, and then you say, well, there's no real knowledge or support then to know what to do with it, is there?
No, there isn't. And if you don't know that it's like buying a car though. If I buy a car, and I actually managed to put oil in my car this week, and that's an achievement. But you wouldn't buy a car and not care for it. Even if you don't know how to do it, you'd pay somebody else to do it. So it's the same kind of thing with your website. If you don't know how to do it, pay an expert if you can.
I'm going to use that analogy.
I'll
steal it from you.
Just came to me then.
So how did you get into web design?
This is going to bore your audience now.
No,
however,
it's usually the most interesting part.
Do you think? Yeah.
There are other people that make websites or make websites, how design
Build,
sites and
design,
build,
yeah.
But they have had a different kind of journey. I'm going to use that word to get there.
Yeah. Oh, but my journey started. I was 2009, graduated from Salford Uni, interior design, but it was crashing. Everything was crashing or crashed.
Right. Oh yeah.
So so everything was just like
financial.
Yeah, nobody had any money. People weren't employing. So I somehow ended up at a printing company, and they printed fabrics. So we printed carpets, curtains, cushion covers, wallpapers, things like that. And it was really interesting, and it was still kind of in my field. But I ended up doing all the websites. So looking after the websites for them, as the company adapted and grew over time, changed the branding and things like that. And then 2017, I fell pregnant, and they just said, "You're redundant." So like, classic. Yeah. So I kind of thought, right, well, I've got a massive belly. No one's going to take me on, knowing that I'm going to be leaving the business. So I just thought, what better time to kind of start my own business? Considered interiors for a little while, but then I just thought, you've got a baby to look after. Do something that you can do at home. So I went into the websites, which was the other thing that I did. But I love design, so it did work, because for a while, it's a bit sad really, but I was calling them designer websites. And they are creative, and I try and work with creative people so that I don't want to work with a plumber, for example, because it's pictures of boilers and pipes and stuff like that. But if you work with, say, an interior designer or an architect, you've got them amazing images on the site, and you can give it that wow factor, and that's kind of where it came from.
I suppose you're it's working with like-minded individuals as well, isn't it? And it's what you knew as well.
Yeah.
Makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does make life easier, because you know what they want, and you also know what the pains are, so you can kind of design around it. And there was also, I'm going to forget the quote now, but there was a guy that I followed when I was doing interior design, and it was always form follows function. So it was always about making it look beautiful, but it's got to work. So you kind of carry that into everything that you design, don't you?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's I don't think there's anything more true to do with that than web design, really.
Yeah.
The amount of times you've seen something that looks pretty that just doesn't work.
Architects and interior designers are renowned for it, because they're creative already, and they think that they can design everything. Nothing against interior designers or architects, but you've got your expertise, and a lot of the time you can design in CAD, and you can design in the programs that people it's something else. SketchUp a lot of the time. But yeah, so you can design in your interiors platforms, but web design, you're trying to encourage people to get in touch with you and inquire, because your site's only got a couple of jobs really. Get people to inquire and make you look good. Yeah. So simple. You get people to the site, I get people to inquire.
It's actually amazing how many people, we're trying to work out how many we've recorded this year. It's between 45 and 50, we think. We've lost track because we've swapped around who went where, and the numbers have got. And we had a couple of people on twice, and they're in the same folder. And so we're arguing the toss around, let's say 50. Yeah. And I reckon half of them started to work around their life and lifestyle, and especially for more for women than men at a certain point. If you're having a family, you're looking to either fit something into around your lifestyle at the time and everything that's going on, so that you can still bring in some revenue and keep your career going, or some kind of work.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how many have started from that.
Yeah, I think COVID made a big difference to people as well, like how they think about how work should be and how that balance with life. So
regret it?
I'd never go back to work, ever. Not for a second. I I always wanted my own business. So the redundancy was, although not good timing, it was blessed.
Yeah.
So I was happy to take it. So is it probably the only time I'd have had guts to do it?
We've just spoken with Brad, the chair, and he's saying, that kind of thing of you've worked for yourself long enough now that you're probably unemployable.
Absolutely. I have said I'm unemployable.
Yeah. Given the opportunity, you'd never go back.
No. No, I'd find something else. I'd go and work for Amazon or something.
Yeah. So at that point, do you remember a point where you felt, actually, this is working out, I've got a bit of a business here? Or is it that first client of your own? And I always, the sense of achievement's always a lot bigger, isn't it? I remember I was involved with massive £1 million sales deals, but it wasn't, the money didn't come directly into me, and it wasn't my business. You're doing it for other people, and you get a little paid client initially, and you're like, this is amazing, I love it.
I've got a business.
Yeah.
And hang on a minute, I've got no money.
Was there a point though where you thought, actually, this isn't just something I wanted to do, it's something I'm actually doing, and I can't believe it.
Probably every day, actually. Because surprisingly, I do love what I do.
Yeah.
But as you know yourself, self-employment has got its challenges.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say the first 3 years of it, having a baby and a toddler and COVID and all the rest of it, it was a bit of a blur. So I was potty training that 2-year-old during COVID, so it was just chaos. But yeah, like everything probably from 2021, I'd probably say it's been a dream. And I think you grow every day, don't you, as a business owner? So
you learn new things, don't you? And, we had a business, with Sean Sankey on, who runs business growth workshops for all around the world, and he said what you felt were issues today, in 3 years' time, you'll be laughing at, because things get bigger and develop. And a friend asked me, what if they were to, what should they? They're just asking me about running a business, and I said, you probably got to be comfortable with chaos, and that chaos changes over time.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're doing it around your personal life and kids and everything else that goes on in life, then it's kind of chaotic anyway.
I don't think I'd know how to handle non-chaos, actually. I think I'd be bored.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're 7 years in now, and it's, well, like you say, I'm probably unemployable now.
Yeah.
But the business as it was probably 2020, 2021 is completely different now.
Yeah. Because
before it was just websites, and now I'm hoping that I can really help other businesses to use the website as a tool and grow their business.
Yeah. So I have about 15 questions in my head.
Okay.
I mean, so let's start. So before family, everything like that, did you, was it purely design that you're interested in, or
yeah, I'd wanted to be a designer, interior designer, since I was about 6.
Yeah.
And that was always the dream. And my family was always, I used to say an artist, because I didn't know what an interior designer was, but I was always like shuffling furniture around the house and things like that. And my dad always used to say, you can't make any money as an artist. Artists don't make any money till they're dead. Yeah. So I always followed my passion. Probably went to uni a bit late. I went to uni at 27. But yeah, I am now doing exactly what I want. I don't think I'd go back to interiors now.
No. What made you go? What was the driver to go to university at
27? I'd been that youth that just coasted. I had a load of different jobs, and only had a job to go out at the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I did. And then at 27, I was a bit like, all right, I need to grow up now.
Yeah.
And then, went to uni.
Do you feel that helped you on the course at the time? I always felt that the friends I had at university that had lived life, had jobs, and then gone back to it, maybe appreciated it a bit more and did better.
Yeah.
And worked harder.
I'd probably say it helped. If I'd have gone at 18, 19 like everybody else did, I wouldn't remember it now.
No.
It'd have been one big party.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have done anything. I'd have wasted my money.
Yeah.
However, it taught me a lot about design for what I do now. So I do think everything happens for a reason. You go to uni late, and it's informed my design now. So
away from that, were you sporty or anything like that?
I'm not a team player. I can say that. I like sport. I like going to the gym. I like keeping fit. I'm very, very interested in health and wellness and all that kind of thing. I love my yoga, but I'd never be on I work by myself.
Yeah.
That says a lot. I would never be on a team.
No.
I suppose I'm quite antisocial.
Well, there's a difference between antisocial and like having your own mind or not liking being managed and stuff like that.
I think that's and I don't like the word entrepreneur, but I think that is self-employed people that work for themselves. I think that's a trait throughout. It's always a bit of a rule breaker and not wanting to be told what to do. Yeah.
That probably makes you a good entrepreneur.
Like I say, I think it's part. I don't know. I don't think I've met an entrepreneur who doesn't mind people sort of telling them what to do.
Yeah.
I don't.
So when it comes to designing, I'm jumping around a lot here, so feel free to move wherever you want to go with it. But when it comes to design, and obviously that's your background, and the main focus is, okay, well, I'd like a website, and some people might have very definite ideas of what it should look like, and which sites they like and which ones they don't. What are the kind of general principles that you'd like to work with that? Are you driven from the client, or?
I try and make something that the client will love, because what the main outcome is having something that you love. You've paid for something, so it's having something that you love. So we have quite an in-depth conversation before we start to build. So we'll either have a face-to-face like this, or we'll jump on a Zoom meeting and sort of go through the needs. So what their clients need from them, what they need from the website, styles that they like, kind of thing, and have a look at the images that they'd want to put on the site, because that can sort of lead it as well. So it's very client driven, very much, because you could design something that works brilliantly, but if they hate it, then it's not going to work for them. No. So yeah, the idea is that the client will love it, but it also drives people to take actions on the site.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? You need people. One of the things we struggle with is, or are asked a lot about, is, well, how can we get people to inquire more? How do we increase the conversion rate and things? And a lot of the time it is, we're making it easier for a user to do something on the site. Well,
that's the thing, because online, for some reason, us humans don't think at all. You don't want to think. You want to be led by the hand and told what to do, which kind of goes against what I've just said. But yeah, if someone has to think about how to contact you on the website, they'll just go off the website and go somewhere else. So whoever's next in Google is the person that will get the business if they've designed their site better.
Right.
So if you don't make it completely obvious, then you're probably losing millions. Well, it depends on your traffic, but you're losing a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, the ticket value.
Yeah. Because I speak to a lot of people that say, right, well, I just want more people on my website. And I say, well, if the website doesn't work, there's no point in spending the money on getting extra traffic, because that traffic will just then bounce, which will then negatively impact your site, as you know.
Yeah.
So getting the site to work first, generally, in my experience, correct me if I'm wrong, but getting the site right and then getting the traffic usually works better.
Well, they both drive each other, don't they? The site right drives. It's the foundation, isn't it? Because you can get people there if if it looks rubbish and doesn't work, or it's slow, or whatever, then they're more likely to go somewhere else. We had Ed Williams on from Williams and Crosby, and their design branding. They're based. They do a lot of things, but it was started many years ago through branding. And he says branding isn't just a logo; it's every touch point with your potential client, and whether it's your website or the coffee you give them when they come to the office, or how you communicate. It's everything.
It is. It's the feel of the brand, and as you'll know yourself, it makes it a lot easier to create the website and also to get people to it if there's sort of a familiarity with the brand already.
Knowing what they do.
Yes.
Clarity on that. We had Brad Bucheri in this morning, and he's all about making sense about what people do. And
that sounds interesting.
Clarity. Yeah, it was actually.
That sounds really interesting.
He's a very interesting guy, and it relates to everything from like your sales, your marketing, your website, how you are yourself. There's lots of business owners that they know what they sell or the service, but actually what makes you different, or what makes the business.
That's a journey on its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
Figuring all that out. And then you speak to a business owner and they think that they're making complete sense when they talk about their business, but as a customer, you know nothing about the business. So it's talking a different language again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
websites can be like that. And when I always talk about an example with had a client who was supplying a higher quality instant coffee to offices, and they were going after the search term business coffee, and I was looking at it and I did the search, and it was actually franchises for businesses to own your own coffee business. It wasn't to buy coffee. And then we changed it to office coffee, and you do the office coffee search, and it's all actual coffee in the searches. So it's not just being clear to people you talk to, but it's also being clear to Google what it thinks people are looking for what you think you do. But it makes you can make a huge difference just from a change of
one word there, wasn't it? Yeah.
Madness. Yeah. So, what kind of? So, obviously, you mentioned that you prefer to work with design focus kind of things that you know. Do you have any examples of types of businesses and companies you work with, and success stories, or anything like that?
I am currently working with I'm a bit of a hippie.
Okay.
So I like all of the eco-friendly green stuff, and I'm currently working with a business called LCS Eco Build, and they build green properties. So it's all about creating a property that's eco-friendly, uses all eco-friendly materials and things like that. And they build quite big houses, and he's got a few really, really good ones. But that's new, so I'm only just working on that one.
Yeah.
And my mind's gone blank. But
That's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did one. So George interviewed me, and at the start of it, I was like, "What do I do? I have no idea. Who am I?"
And I saw a crowd in here this morning, and I thought, "Oh no."
What do I do? So, when it comes to, you mentioned the CRM side of things. What made you go that way as well?
I had been using it in my business for probably a year, and before that, everything was in my head, and I was constantly forgetting things.
Right.
But I thought I had a handle on it. I thought it was fine. And then as you grow and you get bigger, and you've got more things to remember, and you've got more things to do, it just ended up as chaos. So I ended up purchasing a CRM, and then it just kind of transpired that this could work for other people as well.
Yeah.
So I've adapted things to make it work for especially architects, because a lot of the time they've not got a process that can kind of help them do their work. And I don't mean design or anything like that, or that sort of level, but help keep them from having to do admin if they work by themselves, if they're a freelancer. Take the inbound inquiries, book people into the diary, send invoices if that's what they want to do, and proposals, but also making that website work for them in the sense that it promotes them. And as I say, your website's got 2 jobs: get found, get people to inquire. And you'd be surprised how many architects and interior designers have got these amazing, beautiful sites, but they've not got a call to action anywhere. So it's making it all work so that they can get on with designing. And then,
so you must have noticed yourself a big change when you started integrating the CRM into your site.
Absolutely. It gave space to be more creative, if that makes sense. So instead of having, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to get in touch with such and such a body, you've got the space then to kind of know that that's taken care of, and the CRM will remind you when it's due. So you can then focus on, like, well, who do I want to sell to? How do I want to sell to them? And I can create better websites, and I can just create better. And quieten my brain at 3 o'clock in the morning, not thinking, oh, I've now phoned such and such a body.
I mean, it's quite a big thing, that, actually. And to be able to automate appointment setting and things like that is a huge benefit.
It is. When the AI system on it, you'll know yourself that AI is growing massively this year. And having a bot on there, on your website or on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you're using, to chat back to people and then just send them the calendar link or book them in direct, makes a massive difference. And a lot of the time, the AI bots are that intelligent that you don't know you're not talking to a human. So,
well, it's usually a picture of you as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it is.
where you, so do you have any questions, or how can we help? Or,
and we do have to train the bot, so we'd have to train it in how you talk. So, like you say about your branding, you have to train it sort of to scan your website to answer questions, and train. So we ask questions when we're training it to make sure that it answers the questions correctly and that it sounds like a human.
Amazing.
So
we say, obviously, there's some great AI tools actually to help, but it's as good as what you tell it.
It is.
That's fascinating, and just a huge benefit to like businesses like mine. So I'm always in between the clients and the team, and then the admin and finance and everything, and then you're like, okay, well, someone's asking to talk to me. Where's my diaries? I've got one on Outlook, one on Google, one on. I'm like,
me too,
oh
actually.
shit! And it's if someone could just go, all right, here we go.
This is what you've got for the day, and it'll send you an email or a text at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever time you want it to do it.
What you've got on.
And this is your list. This is what you need to do. And this is who you're seeing.
Not someone on LinkedIn saying the 11 o'clock's gone. Can you make it earlier, like I did to you today?
Yeah, it's a good job you did, because it took me that long to get here.
Obviously, we've noticed in SEO about the changes that AI has brought for us, or even just away from that, and search in general is evolving a lot. Do you find that with the web design as well?
Yeah, because AI can build you a website now. Yeah, don't publish that bit. Or you can. It can do whatever you really want it to do. So part of the reason I brought the CRM in is because you could see that AI was growing, and I was speaking to people that said, well, I've just built myself one. And they're not as good as having that human design, because they're still robots and they're still learning, but who knows where it's going to take us. So I was hoping to kind of future-proof myself by making the selling system and integrating everything for them and training it and setting it all up and that kind of thing. So I'm sure you'll be doing the same in your business.
Yeah, I think the main question and thing with AI through the whole year that we've been doing this since February has been AI. And the main thing that's come out of it is that it's a great tool. It can really speed things up for you and save time. But actually, it's how you use it. It's important. I was at a networking event and someone was selling an SEO plugin for WordPress, saying how you just, you activate it and it does it all for you. And that's, to me, that is quite dangerous, because where does it get the data from? Does it know what you're trying to rank for? Is that the right thing to rank for? And if is it going to create content on that page if there isn't enough, or it's not saying the right thing? There's so much there where I'm like, that can't, I know AI is great, but that can't be happening.
Yeah.
So it can't just be a plug and,
no.
set and forget type thing. You have to, it's that kind of question with us, someone might have an idea of what they want, but actually, is it going to be the best for them and their business? And that's where someone who does it all the time comes in, who can ask the right questions and give them ideas of what's possible that they might not know. And that's the human factor, I think.
It is. And like you say, it's a tool. It's not something to replace humans.
At the moment.
Well, I just think of Terminator myself.
I mean, we say with content, it's actually been quite good for SEO, because everyone can create content now. So there's a lot more out there. Actually, search engines are much better at identifying it.
I was just going to say that.
And we're told that search engines, to a point, prefer both, individual, unique content that's unique to businesses that isn't on everywhere else, and that and if you satisfying everyone else is asking for that search, then you're more likely to rank higher.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to someone the other day, I think Google's struggling to keep up with its green targets, and I might get cancelled for this. Who knows? YouTube by Google.
Google, you're dead to me.
Yeah. And so if you're not getting any traffic to a page, or it's not seen as good, or there's not enough content, or it's misleading, whatever, it'll just de-index you. Because why should it use any energy to have you on there? Of course, AI searches are using up 10 times the amount of energy, maybe more, maybe a lot more energy than just a normal search. So they're having to go over there. So we're seeing a big trend of pages being de-indexed, and
it's quite scary.
But there's ways of going around that. Updating the content and adding internal links, maybe funneling people in from social media, so you're getting some traffic to the page.
Yeah.
And Google go, okay, that seems like it's useful now. So we'll index it again. And so there's ways around it, but that's been good for us as opposed to being a negative.
Yeah, that's good.
In my world, anyway. Reality. So I don't know what the point was to that, but
I've just learned from you talking, so it was useful.
But it's I suppose the thing is, like, the human aspect of design is still relatively important.
Yeah. I very much think that it's important, because I think the first time I met you, I was asking about AI and search and how you felt that it would go. But I think that there is absolutely a place for humans. I think it's a tool to use alongside people.
Yeah. We had a copywriter on that said there's a thirst for humanity. And I quite like that.
Yeah, I like that.
These days, I'm going with it. So
stepping away from the screens.
Yeah, if it's humans looking for something to buy or to a service, then they're more likely to buy from something that's human generated, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they say that if you've got photos of humans on your website, that you'll sell more. So it's just looking for that, like you say, human touch.
Yeah. Picture of yourself on social media post gets
I don't really like it, but it does get more. Yeah.
It certainly does. We were talking about, we had Alex McCann on, who is obviously a social media. Runs a social media business, Altrincham HQ. A great character. He came on. He was brilliant, and he said he has an argument about it's not LinkedIn isn't Facebook. I think we were talking. I think he'd had a similar argument on posts recently, and it was more about the personal posts and messages, and he's saying, but actually people want to know about you, the human side of you.
Yeah.
Don't hide behind the logo and the formality.
I think you need to be human. I don't like that argument on LinkedIn.
But there's levels, isn't there? It's...
Well, I mean, you wouldn't talk about maybe what you was doing on Friday night and how drunk everybody was and all that sort of thing. But, you're a human still. I put my 7-year-old, a photo of her, we did the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But she decided that she'd wrap herself in tinsel and put a star on her head first.
Yeah.
So there was a photo of Sophia dressed as a Christmas tree. That's human.
I bet there was a lot of engagement as well. So obviously, it's not just the case with you of doing the website, leaving them to it. Do you find clients like the support that they get after that?
Yes, because it feels like they've actually got a return for their investment. So when I was just building them a website and just sending them on the way to manage it themselves, you'd speak to them in sort of 12 months' time and they'd say to you, well, it's just been completely useless. I've not done anything with it. And then you start to ask questions like, well, have you told anybody that you've got a website? Have you put it on your business cards? Have you put it on your social medias? Oh, no, I've not done that. Well, it's not 1990, so we need to kind of push it. So rather than kind of putting the blame on them, it was kind of like, well, how can I help them to...
Yeah.
Because it goes back to the car, doesn't it? When I first got a car, I didn't know you had to put oil in it.
Yeah.
Dad, this doesn't sound right.
The radiator, in those days, obviously the radiator going, you're like, well...
Yeah. The car doesn't sound very good. When did you last check the oil? Oil? So,
it doesn't need that.
Yeah, exactly. So same with the website. If you don't know, you don't know.
No. I always find this, you don't want any bad PR, do you?
No.
And especially if it's out of your control. And so the communication about what you're doing and why and what will benefit you is really important to not get that bad PR.
Yeah, it is, because obviously people feel that you've done them wrong, even if you haven't. So yeah, it avoids that kind of a situation as well. Thankfully I'm all 5 stars and all that kind of thing. But it needed to be fixed. And you can't blame the client for not knowing.
No.
So.
No. It's hugely important, especially in what we do and George as well, what they do. So what's coming up for the business? Do you have any big plans for next year? So we're coming up to the new year and all that.
New year goals, things like that. Yeah, just growth. Yeah. I feel like this year I've worked a lot on the business, so sort of refining my offer, making sure customers are happy, making sure that it makes sense. However, I might say that I market people's business, but I cannot market my own. I can't talk about my offers. I feel like I can't articulate it very well, especially when it comes to social media posts and emails and things like that. I can talk about anyone else's business and I'm absolutely fine with it, but my own, I just feel like I'm not really communicating it very well. So it's going to be to learn to do that.
It's really a big thing, that, isn't it? I have the same thing, and it doesn't matter if you've had sales experience or anything. It comes to talking about what you do, clarity of that, because you're always thinking about other things and doing things. And, how you communicate is tricky, isn't it?
And I don't know if it's a British thing or what, but I feel like we don't really like to talk about ourselves, and we don't want to seem like we're boasting or anything. So I think there's a little bit of that in it, whereas we don't want to be all like, oh, this is a fantastic offer and this is great. Yeah. And if you're doing it about yourself, it doesn't feel right. Makes me uncomfortable anyway.
Yeah. My brother-in-law spent a lot of time in America, and he said the big kind of realization for him was that the Americans are very good at talking about things, but he was relied upon to do a lot of the stuff, and they got promoted ahead of him, even though. So his thing was he had to start being able to communicate and drive and talk about what he does in a way that people people get. Do you have any advice for anyone who is thinking about starting up their own business? Or?
Yeah, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. I feel like everybody, myself included, feels like everything has to be in place and everything has to be like, oh, so I need my website up before I start my business. I need my business cards. I need my email address. I need this. I need that. And you have this kind of mental tick list. But my advice is just
do it.
Get out in front of people. Networking is a good one. I know you're not into it, but it is a good one. Doesn't matter on the group.
I love networking.
Yeah, it's people. People buy from people. So just go and talk to people in a networking group, and then work towards ticking things off. Yes, you need a website, but not yet.
Yeah.
You know, or build yourself one.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? We get this with SEO. Like, I know we want to do the website, and then the website's never done, because it has to be right. It has to say what I want it to say. Well, what do you want to say?
I don't know.
And then that's so there's always another reason not to do something. Yeah.
So I do think that we strive for perfection, and that is a piece of advice I've been given this year. Just go for a B- or a C. Don't go for an A+. That would be my advice to anyone.
Just do it.
Just start.
Step over that edge and talk to people. And
your time is way more valuable than anybody can tell you how much you're worth for an hour.
Yeah.
Never again.
That's a big realization, isn't it? Where you like charging for your time and what that's worth.
What that is, what value that is, or what that person perceives to be your value.
Being able to having the confidence to do that's a big thing, I think.
Yeah.
Business owners when they start off.
It's a big jump as well, though, if you're going from employment to self-employment. You've got that security. I don't think anybody would ever look back, though.
No. It's when you go from that secure paycheck to nothing. A guy said it's, I might have seen this on YouTube or something like that. He said people will walk to places that are within a mile, but they'll go in the car to anywhere that's over that, and you might get there quicker going further in the car, but actually the step forwards, the hard bit, so the first bit's the hard bit, and just get out the door. Yeah. That doesn't relate really, but you know what I mean. Marathon runner says the hardest part of training is that meter from the front door outside.
I just said from the couch. But, yeah.
Now that front door is the hardest thing. Anyway, what more analogies can I use to get out of my thing? What so yeah, I mean, for me, the advice is if you want to do it and you're able to do it. I mean, COVID gave me the time to network and you didn't have the option of the big paycheck and the good job, and that wasn't there. So you kind of
adapt, don't you?
Yeah. You can either sit there or do nothing, or you can go and do something about it.
Absolutely. And I think that I said before, it takes a certain type of person. There'll be some people, my husband, for example, he would just let the work come to him.
Yeah.
But I think there's other people with a kind of different, I don't want to say mentality, but different personality. And I don't know, no paycheck coming in, you've just got to go and get some work, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
persistence beats resistance.
Yes.
There's a phrase I quite like. So that seems like a perfect place to end it. Thanks so much for coming in, giving me time, coming in a bit earlier. It'd been a lot earlier without the traffic.
It would.
Yeah. But thank you very much. And
thank
it's been great to chat.
Thanks.
Well done.